indigo thread. In a small studio in the heart of the city, Adoranki sat surrounded by rivers of blue. Bolts of hand-dyed Adire fabric draped over chairs and tables, their intricate patterns of spirals and suns whispering stories of old. But today, the studio felt too quiet. For 3 years, Adoranki had poured her soul into these patterns, yet her bank account remained as empty as the street outside during a Harmattan haze. The ping of her laptop felt like a physical blow. It was the 3rd rejection letter that week, this time from the National Fashion Gala. "Your work is culturally significant," the email read, "but perhaps too traditional for our modern runway." Adoranki stared at the screen, her heart sinking. Was her dream of bringing heritage to the high street just a foolish fantasy? She reached out to touch her sewing machine, the metal cold against her fingertips. "Maybe it's time to stop," she whispered to the empty room. She began to pack her shears and chalk into a box. The weight of almost was becoming too heavy to carry. She decided she would close the studio by the end of the month and find a steady job in a bank, just like her parents had suggested. Seeking a final moment of peace, Adoranki traveled to the outskirts of town to visit Bolanle, the elderly woman who had taught her the secrets of indigo. Bolanle was at the dye vats, her arms stained a permanent, beautiful blue up to the elbows. She didn't look up when Adoranki approached, but she could sense the heaviness in the air. "The vat is stubborn today," Bolanle said, her voice like cracked earth. "Sometimes, the indigo refuses to take hold. It looks muddy and dull. A novice would throw the cloth away and say the dye is broken. But the master knows that the most stubborn cloth often holds the deepest color if you just give it one more dip." Adoranki sat on a low stool beside her mentor. "I'm tired of dipping the cloth, Ma," she confessed. "The world wants fast fashion and synthetic neon. They don't want the slow magic of the earth." Bolanle smiled, reaching out to pat Adoranki's hand with her stained fingers. "The world doesn't know what it wants until a visionary shows them. Your thread isn't broken, Adoranki. It's just being tested for strength." Adoranki returned to her studio that evening, but she didn't pick up the packing box. Instead, she picked up a scrap of Adire that featured the Aura-sun pattern, the symbol of the lizard representing patience. She took a pair of scissors and did something she had been afraid to do. She cut the traditional wrap into a bold, avant-garde structural sleeve. For 3 days, she worked without sleep. She blended the ancient wax-resist techniques with sharp, modern tailoring. She created a silhouette that looked like the future but breathed like the past. She wasn't making clothes for a gala anymore. She was making clothes for herself, for the woman who refused to be washed away. A week later, Toke, a high-profile fashion scout known for her ruthless taste, walked into the studio. She had heard rumors of a designer who was, quote, quitting. She looked at the new piece on the mannequin and stopped dead. "This," Toke said, touching the fabric with a gloved hand, "is not traditional.